All right, good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, October 15th, 2020. And thank you so much for joining me again for Mornings with the Manager. I always appreciate people who are tuning in today and also those who are watching it later, since this is also taped and you can watch it whenever you like to watch it on YouTube. Um, Today, I want to talk about 5 or 6 different things. Number one is I want to talk briefly about next week's council meeting and explain to you what's going to happen. We'll talk, of course, about the COVID-19 pandemic briefly. I will share a few thoughts about our budget. We'll talk about some information that I think is interesting with respect to the election. And then at the end, I will briefly mention the Parks and Recreation Commission. So with that, just again, thank you for tuning in. As you know, I always try to inform you about what the council has done at their last council meeting and what they possibly intend in doing at the future council meeting. And today, I think it's interesting to note that next week, Tuesday, there are quite a few items on the agenda that might be of interest for all of us and for all of you. In the afternoon session, we will hear again from the library and the library board, who have put together with a consulting team, a library feasibility study. And as you know, the library in the city of Monterey has a very special place, and it is actually governed by a library board, and the council has some sort of oversight over the budget, but in essence, the library board is quite a independent committee or board better. And we have looked at the library for quite a few years to figure out what is the future of the library. The building itself, as you know, located in the vicinity of City Hall, is aging, and so the team will present to you a concept about the library, a possible library remodel, a possible expansion of the library. And there are various options out there, but we have to realize that also the purpose of a library has expanded over the past decades. The library is not just the place where you can go and pick a book and or return a book. The library is in many more ways important as a community center, as a center that is providing information not just about books or initiatives or over past history or interesting science projects, etc. No, it's also a place where people congregate and where they want to have help, where you want to find information about social services, or you want to find equal interested folks in very specific topics, and it becomes also dedicated meeting space for community groups, etc. And so next week, Tuesday, we will learn about the future of the library. Basically, what do our folks envision for the city of Monterey? How important will what is the next important role the library can play in our city? So that will happen next week, Tuesday, at the 4 p.m. session. And I ask you all to Zoom in and watch the meeting, and also participate using all the tools that we are offering through Zoom meetings. In the evening, there will be also very interesting topics in front of council that you might also listen to. We will present to the council 3 different projects that developers have approached the city with. Those projects will include building, housing, and of course that will include affordable housing components. As you know, the city requires every new development that comes in front of city council to at least dedicate 20% of the housing units to affordable housing. So if somebody wants to build 20 apartments, four of those apartments have to be dedicated to affordable housing. And we will hear from different developers who are bringing forward different projects. Why are we bringing them already to the council? We are bringing them to the council to present to the council those projects, but the reason why the council needs to listen to them, it will require the council at one point to adjust our specific plans, our general plan, to adjust zoning. And that will be an interesting discussion. And the reason why we bring it forward so early in the game plan is we want the council to listen to this and also to indicate to a degree what their willingness is to consider those projects. One of those projects is in an area that was originally designed for an expansion of Window on the Bay. So, do you want to continue Window on the Bay project, or do you feel that the site that is being identified might actually be better suitable for affordable housing? These will be the questions that will be in front of the city council, and we as staff felt it is absolutely important to bring it forward now to the council before the developers incur hundreds of thousands of cost with respect to developing the project. Projects cost money, the design cost money, the architectural drawing cost a lot of money. And this will be a session for the council, and it's unusual to bring it forward so early in the game, but it will just gauge the council's interest in that. No decisions will be made. And again, we have a normal process for bringing all those elements forward that involves various commissions here in the city of Monterey until it reaches the final decision authority, which is the council. But we felt it's important to give the council already an impression of what might be coming, and also to let the developers hear what the council thinks about some of those projects. So it will be very interesting, and I think you might want to tune in and listen to the various proposals. Our agenda with more details will be posted probably this afternoon, Thursday afternoon, if not Friday morning. We have almost completed the agenda package, and again, 72 hours prior to a council meeting, it has to be published. And I'm hopeful actually that we can go into publication sometime late this afternoon. So with that, this is what you can expect at the next council meeting next week, Tuesday. And those of you who are following us closely, you might have noticed that we switched from the Google Suite platform to Zoom Government. And we did this because Zoom in the beginning was not a reliable platform, and you had heard a few times in the months of March and April that Zoom had become a platform where people could just crash the platform with other videos and inflict a lot of disturbances on meetings. Zoom Government has now made the platform a lot more harder to break, and is actually a better product, we feel, than the Google Suite. And we have switched to Zoom, and all the instructions you'll find also on the website. And as well as we will be presenting that verbally multiple times during the council meeting. But you will see that actually the picture quality is a lot better. And we also took care of the dialing in or raising hands. And so Zoom is our new platform, and we tested it actually 2 weeks ago during the council meeting, and we will continue to use Zoom for all boards and commissions now. My next item that I said I wanted to talk to you about is COVID-19, the pandemic. When you look at the numbers in Monterey County, they are trending downwards. You see definitely that there is a trend towards smaller numbers. The positivity rate is shrinking. We are, to a certain degree, almost very close to reach the next tier, which is the red level from widespread to substantial. I look at that personally with some concerns, and let me share you why. When you look at the trend data across the country, across our nation, you see that the data is spiking again, and you see that the daily cases across the United States is increasing. And while our county is moving into the right direction, and while the red tier will allow us a certain opening, gradually opening of restaurants, for instance, at 25% capacity. And while that is great because we are going into the winter season and not everyone wants to sit outside anymore, while this is all good news, I'm personally very much concerned that we have to dial that back again because of the infection rates, and with that, the hospitalization rates may increase. I want to assure you that what we are doing from the city side is that, of course, we will follow the county's guidance. And of course, if the county allows us to go into the next tier, we have to be respectful of that and go into the next tier together with the council. But what I want to assure you also is that we have to take all the other precautions still to ensure that we are not going backwards again, like we did in June and July when we actually shut down again a great deal of operations. So I want to share those personal concerns with you, and I want to assure you that we will continue to look out for what we can do as a city to be on the forefront of many of those measures. And allow me briefly again to talk about face covering. And you've heard in the past weeks more and more people talking about face covering because of the spreader event we had at the White House, and that kind of amplified also the value of wearing face mask. As a city of Monterey, we are in compliance of the state guidance, and the state guidance basically encourages everyone to wear a face mask, but it also allows exceptions in situations where individuals think that they can maintain 6 feet social distancing. And if you walk down Franklin Street, if you walk down Jefferson Street, if you are on Pearl Street, or even if you are sometimes on Alvarado Street, if you feel you can maintain 6 feet social distancing, you are not required by the guidelines from the state of California, the county of Monterey. You are not required to wear a mask. And that's sometimes hard to understand for some of the folks who are saying or contacting us and sharing with us observations that they see on Alvarado Street. But I wanted to assure you that basically the face covering ordinance or the face covering guidance from the state clearly states if you feel you can maintain 6 foot distancing, you are not required to wear a mask. Uh, on the flip side, as the city of Monterey, we realize that we have two areas in our city where we assume that 6 feet distancing cannot be really maintained at any given time. And these are the areas on Cannery Row and the areas on Wharf Number One. And on Wharf Number One, as well as Cannery Row, we require 100% face mask wearing, with the exceptions of those folks that have breathing difficulties or have other health related issues that make it prohibitive for them to wear a mask. So many times people get slightly confused by the face covering that we have, and people are of course reporting to us that they see folks walking on the rec trail without face covering. I just wanted to assure you we have to make findings, and those findings we were able to make on Cannery Row as well as the wharf number one to have stricter regulations than the county and then the state of California. And yes, we have to look at what the county describes as the correct distance. There are discussions: is 6 feet too tight? Is it too far? Again, we do not have the experts here on city staff. We have to follow what the county and the state says. And right now, that is 6 feet. And of course, the science keeps changing any given time, and we will adjust accordingly. And of course, we will not shy away to make findings in areas where we think we have to be stricter. And last but not least, for right now, this still remains Wharf 1, still remains Cannery Row. I again want to assure you that we will always approach the issues from a public health concern. We will always err on the side of public health. On the flip side, of course, you have also a lot of folks that are eager to becoming re-employed again, or eager to open the doors a little bit more than what is allowed right now. The aquarium still remains closed. The aquarium is considering to work with the state of California to come up maybe with some sort of regulations that allows them to open it. I think the state is sometimes not very clear in the guidance for us, and leaves it to localities to figure it out. And I really hope that the aquarium, together with the state, can work on solutions. The question, for instance, could be why are outdoor malls or indoor malls allowed, for instance, in certain areas, and why are big aquariums not allowed to operate? These are some of the questions that also could be discussed right now. Last but not least, I want to assure you that our code compliance officer is still out and about and issuing citations. In September, we issued, I believe, close to 50 citations. And we also go into the back operations of our restaurants and check up on the personnel there as well. And that ruffled some feathers with some of the restaurateurs once in a while. But in the end, it's in our common interest to ensure that everyone works by the rules. And so code compliance will continue to enforce. And last but not least, if there is a need to ramp it up even more, we will do just that. COVID-19 numbers again trending better. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 3 to 4 weeks we might actually reach the next tier. And as I shared with you before, I still have some slight concerns about that. We will continue watching our budget numbers, and we briefed the council twice in this fiscal year already about our budget. The last time was last week when we talked about the special funds. But just on the big overview level, 30,000 foot level, as we say, the numbers for July and August with respect on how we are spending money are exactly where we want it to be. We have spent in July and August around 16% of our budgeted numbers. So if you take 100% and you divide it by 12, you get about 8 point something. And so 16% really represents exactly where you want to be. We actually underspend there by a small fraction of percentage. With respect to the revenues, and everyone who balances the checkbook has to look at what is our income, what are our expenses. With respect of our income, we are trending below that right now, and that doesn't give us great worries right now, because some of the funds that we are expecting are coming later or coming in different intervals. Sales tax gets not posted every month by the state. Business license tax is trickling in. Property tax doesn't come in on a regular basis either. So you cannot compare the first 2 months with the first 2 months of revenues. But in that case, we are also at about 12% right now. So 4% below the expenditures. This doesn't worry us at this time, as we know that some of the ticket items that we needed to count are not in that estimate. For instance, in the numbers that we have tracked right now, we do not have yet the August numbers accounted for with respect to TOT. So I just wanted to let you know we will continue monitoring those numbers, and we will be briefing the council in December, because at that time we probably have about 5 months under our belt, and we can overview 5 months of expenses and 5 months of revenues. And I shared with you, I think 2 weeks ago, that some of the revenues that we expected are just not happening. When we estimated our budget projection, we calculated that we will have a Big Sur half marathon in town in October, November. We estimated that we will have the sports center reopened by July and have customers return to the sports center between 30 to 40% levels. As you all are well aware, the conference center is closed, the sports center is closed, and we don't have those revenues coming in. So there have to be adjustments, but we also have those reserves still, and we have some safety buffers built in. So December will be a critical time for us to look at the numbers and then figure out where we are with that. With that, I want to talk briefly about the election. The election, as you know, is going on right now, and I just read a number early this morning about the votes already being submitted in the state of California. And right now, we have in the state of California 1.5 million votes submitted through ballots, 1.5 million votes. And as a comparison, 4 years ago in the 2016 election, at the exact point in time of the election, the number was $150,000 ballot. 150,000 ballots. So 1.5 million in 2020 versus 150,000 in 2016. You see that a lot of more, 10 times more people have already voted by ballot. And with that, I wanted to pitch to you that we have a ballot box in front of the library, the Monterey Public Library. It's an official library box and gets serviced by the Monterey County of Elections. And our household submitted our votes on Sunday and used the library box there. And I want to ask you all, if you want to vote by mail or you want to submit a ballot, the most convenient way and the way that you can be assured that your ballot gets processed directly by the Monterey County Elections Office are ballot drop boxes. And we have multiple times shared the locations of drop boxes in Monterey County or on the Monterey Peninsula. There is a great interactive map out there that the Monterey County Weekly has created. And I encourage you all to consider that or share that information. We think also from election experts, from folks that are in that business of watching elections. We think at this time of the election, probably 60 to 70% of the votes have been already submitted with respect to elections. So that's also an interesting shift in trends, that less and less people are actually going to vote on election day, November 3rd. Again, these are all theoretical numbers with respect to how many have already submitted their votes, but we will go forward knowing that a $1.5 million ballots submitted is really a very, very good numbers and shows how engaged all the voters are in the state of California. I wanted to talk briefly. I was asked by one neighbor to mention again what Measure Y is. Measure Y is a tax measure that the city council put up for election, and it suggests to the voters to increase the hotel tax. That's the tax that tourists pay when they are paying for a room, that the hotel tax be raised from 10% to 12% by a total of 2%. And that would bring into the coffers of the city of Monterey anywhere between $2.8 million to $5.6 million in additional tax revenues. And Measure Y, which council approved with a 5-0 vote, requires a supermajority, a two-third majority to get approved. Why? It is regarded as a special tax because 16% of those funds will be going to the NCIP again. And so 84% will go to the general fund, 16% goes to the NCIP. And again, the vote required to get passed is a two-third majority. Last but not least, I wanted to talk briefly about the Parks and Rec Commission. And why do I want to talk about the Parks and Rec Commission? Last night there was a Parks and Rec Commission meeting, and at the end of the meeting, the Parks and Rec Commission acknowledged our city staff, and I want to use that time to give that shout out to our Parks and Recreation staff. As you know, we laid off over 72 employees in April, and the bulk of those employees were from the recreation department. And our recreation department really consists out of less than 10 recreation professionals, and the rest are parks and urban forestry employees. And those team members have created a lot of programming and are doing a lot of good work on the street and in helping residents. And on Mondays, we have the food produce distribution that is distributing about 300 to 400 boxes of food on Mondays to various folks that are driving by. There are 300 to 400 households every Monday, Tuesday through Friday. We are helping Meals on Wheels to also distribute food at our Lake Elistero Center. We have created a new preschool program again that has started at Hilltop Park. It's our first reopening, so to speak. We are allowed to have preschool programs. It's for 3 hours a day where parents can bring their children in the age, I believe, of 3 to 6 years. And kids go again to a preschool at Hilltop Park. That program has filled up very nicely. We have brought on board, rehired a part-timer to conduct that program. And we also conduct regularly blood drives. The Sports Center has programming out on the deck outside the sun deck, and is conducting exercise classes. Very small, not a lot of folks there, but they are limping along. They are doing a great deal of work, and I was so happy to learn that the Parks and Rec Commission acknowledged that. Being in the middle of all of that, you see those things evolving, and you sometimes don't realize how great our team is. And so big shout out from the Parks and Rec Commission, and I want to acknowledge that the Parks and Rec Commission acknowledged us. So thank you for all of that. With that, I tried to be responsive to the comments that we had on our live chat here. As we are going forward, be assured that we will try to do our best to keep you all informed. Since I have a few more minutes, I just wanted to make another pitch for the rental assistance program. We have awarded, I think, a little over 62 or 64 award checks now for the rental assistance program. The program is working very, very well. We want you to spread the word. We want you to tell others about the rental assistance program. And you will see also some advertisement coming forward in newspapers, also in Spanish-speaking newspapers, newspaper in Salinas, as well as I think we are also exploring a radio advertisement for that as well, because we feel we have still money available to allocate, award, give out rental assistance program. It has been so far pretty successful, but we'd like to get more folks using that. And with that last pitch for the rental assistance program, I thank you all for your help and your support. This weekend is another interesting warm weekend. We just allocated an additional fire engine to the county, and that will be just a fire engine that will be in standby mode in case that a red flag warning, which has been issued, in case we have a fire somewhere in the county. So just wanted to assure you, while we don't expect power shutoffs in the city of Monterey, you know that the overall situation in the state is still that we will have possibly fire events over the course of the next 72 hours. And just this morning, I learned from our fire chief that the County Office of Emergency Services has asked us to get a fire engine pre-positioned somehow, somewhere, in case a fire is there. So everyone is looking out for the county. And of course, you know that CAL FIRE is doing an outstanding job in fighting fires everywhere and being on the lookout for us as well. So with that, I wish you well. Stay healthy, stay safe. COVID-19, we are probably now at the back end of the middle of COVID-19. That's how I would estimate that. All the measures that we are asking you to implement and to maintain, please do so, and stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you for listening to me. Have a great day. Bye bye. Thank you.